switching here.
Sure.
For the more civilized age.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to An Elegant Weapon, episode 380. My name is J.M. Clark, J the Jedi Ross Jedi J, and as always, it is so wonderful to have you all hanging out with us here tonight in the Smoking Pod studio. Back so soon. Why, you ask? Because why the hell not? I know we were just with you on Sunday night with Mr. Anthony Rutgazer and Mr. Josh Hawks talking about a lot of fun stuff, but we realized there's a lot more to talk about that fun stuff. So that's what's happening. Tonight, joining me, hanging out to talk about some fun stuff, ladies and gentlemen, comic book writer and artist extraordinaire, Mr. Sam Noir. Hello, Sam.
Hello, friend.
It's nice to have you back, man.
It has been way too long. I miss the Smoking Pod studio a great deal, but there's distance now, especially now that I'm not driving and you're living in the Hamilton, and I am back in the big bad city of Toronto.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been so bad if you were still out in Oakville, man. But now you're out in the T dot.
Now we're talking GO trains and all that kind of stuff. But this is the great thing. We have a virtual hub here. So
yeah, I hate it so much.
I know. I would love to be out there in person, and hopefully in the new
soon
year.
Enough. You're one who's kind of been like not in my immediate bubble, but kind of enough of a bubble where we've stayed aware of what each other is doing and stuff that we've been able to at least hang out a little bit kind of thing. So that's been super cool. Before I completely faded away, kids, let me remind you that this wonderful, beautiful music that you're hearing in the background, why, yes, indeed, that is the Ccclxxx. It's our brand new theme song. It's called Ska Boheme. It's off the Boss Harmony Sessions. You can go to the Ccclxxx at Bandcamp. And you can go to all the other places that you buy music and look up the Ccclxxx, especially the Boss Harmony Sessions. They're super, super cool. Band's been around for a long time, and they're the greatest single band on the face of the earth. I will fight you if you disagree.
And
at least verbally fight you
on
with my
verbal
lytics, you know what I mean? But anyways, yes, thank you to the guys for allowing us, especially Mr. Disco Dave Hilliard, for letting us slap this on there. Because it was time to freshen up a little, and this song is very me, and it kind of suits the whole thing that we're going for around here. So there you go. That's the Ccclxxx, kids. Please check them out where you can. You're gonna hear about them a lot on this show. So yeah, I figured not much going in the world tonight.
Scoring that theme song, by the way.
I know. You know what?
Awesome, they're just awesome score.
They're great guys. I've had 3 of the 6 of them on the show. I've had Dave, Jay Nugent, and Glenn Pine have all been on the show. Still got to get the other 3. But I've kept in contact with Dave, and because he's a really nice guy and he makes friends with a lot of fans. And in fact, he came by New York Comic-Con year before last, and to say, well, not specifically to say hello to me, but he was at New York Comic-Con and made a point of coming by to say hello, which was very, very cool, getting to meet him and his family and such. And so kind of kept correspondence. And then I've always loved Ska Boheme, and or maybe Ska Bohem. I've heard some other people say Ska Bohem. I'm going with Ska Boheme just by the grammatical issue itself. Yeah, but I'm distracting myself. Isn't that great? Great way to start. It's awesome. It's back to old school stylies. So anyways, I kept correspondence with him, and I just asked him, because I've always thought this song was great, and I always thought it was a perfect instrumental for a theme song. And, I always thought it was very me and very, that mellow groove that we try to bring through on the show. And I just hit him up, and I asked very politely for permission, and they're very cool guys. You're always going to hear about where it comes from, because credit is due. The publishing info will also be in the notes, in the comments of the information. If you download the show on the MP3 or look in the information, you can see where you can find the Slaggers and all their beautiful stuff. So it's very, very, very honored that they would allow me the privilege of using that song. Joey Pangolinin. We went through this, didn't we, Joey? It's just how it sounds too. It's Pangolinin. It's Joey Pangolinin. Sam, she misses your cute drawings at cons.
I miss drawing them. Actually, I managed to do a virtual con just this past day or two out in the OPL Fan Con, and actually I volunteered to do little sketches for everybody who was in our panel. So I actually get to do a little bit of that over the next couple of weeks. So gets me back into it.
And what is this con? What is this virtual con?
It's one of the library ones, the Oshawa Public Library. So a few libraries actually, because I love library shows. Lots of kids, lots of excited librarians to chit chat with. I'm often invited to library shows, and I've been doing quite a few virtually this year, chatting with librarians, and it's actually kind of an intimate setting. They usually have you in a Zoom session with a small amount of people that have sort of signed in privately, and they just sort of do a Q&A roundtable.
That's super fun.
There was enough people in there, and you know me, I do dozens and dozens and dozens of these things every show. So a small crowd I'm happy to draw for. So
Sam, you do these. Brian Ansey, what is up? He says, "What's up, guys?" You're always there. You're always drawing for the kids and drawing for people, and you do the little chip drawings and stuff. Mm-hmm. But once in a while, you like to remind the world that you have a little bit of talent in your back pocket. And recently, you did Black Belt Jones. Did you not?
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun.
That was excellent. That was very well done.
Yeah, I did go to my undergrad was for fine art, painting, sculpting, printmaking. So, but I like to sit down, I like to sketch, but sometimes with a convention, you just need to have your more looser, crayon-y, cartoony style just to be able to do one for everybody. But then in an opportunity when you have to, live draw for charity, I think we did a Black Lives Matter one a couple of months back. But that was just a chance to sit there for an hour and work the pencils, use every pencil from the 4H over to my 5B.
So all the time you've been spending at your new home in the Raid studio, how much of that has been actual like drawing, hanging out and sketching and stuff? Because I know you've got a lot of work going on. Right now.
Yeah. No, primarily it's the writing, it's the production work. But the great thing is there is sort of enough time, especially in terms of like charity events and things like that. And every now and then I'll go through a spell where I'll do a daily drawing just to clear my head and do a warm up essentially for the day when my head will be buried in the computer all day and my eyes will be going off in different directions because I'm either writing or lettering or actually putting the book together in PDF form, et cetera, all the production work, all the social media, all the crowdfunding. So it's actually very relaxing just to get out the pencils. Hopefully soon I'll be able to get out the inks, and I've gotten back into penciling quite easily. It's sort of the inking and hopefully painting that will come back as well.
Dude, we'll get into this in a minute, but I went to the Van Gogh immersive exhibit.
Oh, it is so good. Did you do the drive-through or the
no, I walked through, man. I did the walkthrough.
The walkthrough is amazing.
But before I forget, I want to ask, because you are in the process of moving into your new home at the Raid studio. And last time I was there, we were filling up your storage space, and you were just starting to get set up in your space. So
Yeah.
have you made much progress since then?
Yeah, no, we're settled in as of the first of the month. I
Right,
have
yeah.
a little space set up. I got some
Awesome.
shelves up. I've got my desk set up. So yeah, no, just it's been fantastic. It's been a great situation just to be able to. And not that I haven't been in the space for months and months and months, particularly under lockdown, but just to be able to go from open desk to dedicated desk and a dedicated space, and having my books, and so I'm slowly moving. Now that I got a giant bookshelf and a desk in there, I'm slowly bringing my books in. That any given moment when I need inspiration or reference or something, I can just turn around and
Right.
grab if something's coming up in conversation. They're
I
all
can't
sort of
wait to come hang out,
right
man. It's gonna
there,
be a
and
blast. I just want to come
having.
draw there. I just
There you
want to for a
go.
day come and hang out
Absolutely,
and draw and
absolutely.
soak up that energy. You know what I mean?
And let me pitch this to you. I had a day of what I call grazing in Little Manila, up in the Etobicoke area, and I want to take you next time you're in Toronto to Little Manila, where there is amazing barbecue. There's amazing other things as well, but there's a place that literally looks like it's on fire because the amount of smoke coming out of this place. You're driving down the street, you're driving down Wilson, and plumes of smoke are coming out of this building. I'm shocked that fire trucks weren't surrounding the place, but yeah,
That sounds
Filipino
like awesome
barbecue
fun.
is sweet. And yeah, I
I'll
propose
save some calories for that,
drawing
man. Yeah.
and a little bit of grazing
Yeah.
would be
No, I
my
love it.
suggestion.
That sounds like a lot of sugar and protein, man. I'm down for it.
And
You
if
know,
we
I
can
saw a
get a hike
picture.
in there too.
A picture popped up in my memories the other day of at one of my after parties, and you and Jen were there, and I guess I didn't realize because I'd seen you enough, but I looked at this picture and I was like, God damn, Sam's lost quite a bit of weight and is looking quite fine these days. And
Part of that is the shutdown in the sciatica, and yeah, I've had to go through some exercises and try to eat properly, and yeah, I don't know. I think you remember that I was pretty much immobile. I was walking with a cane for a while there. Luckily, Cairo and the gym opened, and I was able to do the exercise and starting to eat a little better than all the junk food, especially under COVID. All the restaurants shut down, so I was actually
Right.
bringing in, like, healthy
Yeah.
carrots and cherry tomatoes and yeah, the good stuff. So
Right.
thank you. I really appreciate that, and I really wish I could join you on a lot more hikes as the season starts to
Well,
as the snow
hopefully
starts
we'll
to
get
fall.
there if we can ever
But
figure out what's going on with
but
all this
hey,
madness. But
I would love to pick up some snowshoes. So
you know, I actually have a
I would
pair
love.
here.
Oh, do you?
Not
Okay.
mine, but there's a pair here that I have access to that I'm sure
Like
I'd be
old
allowed to
school or
use.
the new
No,
kind
they're
of
like the
lighter metal
newer.
one?
Yeah, they're like the light aluminum, funky
Oh
looking
wow,
ones.
dude.
Yeah, so I kind of want to give them a try, man,
Oh, we totally have to. There's so many good trails.
and see how they
I
work
would
out, right?
I
So
would
here we
love
are,
that.
Sam, and we're hanging out, and I put as the title of this video "Distraction." So I guess that we're giving a little bit of distraction from tonight's election festivities
Oh
because it
yeah,
could
that's
possibly
right.
be the end of the world tonight. So
we
I'm
are
happy to be spending the end of the fall of Rome with you, Sam.
we are watching an empire fall. I've just been kind of doing research into an upcoming project about Babylon and the Roman Empire, and even fascinating, sort of seeing France and England tumble. So it is with great fascination that we watch these events and hope for the best.
It's
We're hoping for the best. Either way,
it's
it's going to be a lot of nonsense without getting too political.
it
Have you
definitely
seen
is.
Borat, by the way?
Say again?
Have you seen Borat 2?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my God. It actually made me a little depressed. I'll admit, just because it is sort of holding up a mirror to the state of the world, but it is sharp. It is very, very sharp, and I recommend it. I completely recommend it. It's not quite the humor distraction that I was looking for. I kind of got more of that in Bill and Ted. The escapism, the
I haven't seen that
positivity.
yet either. I
The
gotta catch up on that shit.
Oh man,
Yeah. So
both of these are Smoking Pod Studio movies, dude.
I know, right? Well, I've been catching up on a lot though. There has been a lot of
Okay.
watching going on, considering how little watching I had been doing for so long, right? But
Hmm.
now I've got more of a regular routine kind of going on because I've got a lot of just stuff happening with work, and it's not allowing for as many frivolous hikes these days. They have to be more of a planned out occasion, which is all good.
How was your
But
camping trip, by the way?
which camping trip?
Last I saw you, I think a couple of weeks back, you were planning on going away with the boy hiking.
Oh, that no, I was going to be going to this little cabin thing with friends of ours, and
Oh,
then that friend of ours got quarantined
oh,
because
dude.
she's in education, and she went, well, sort of in
Oh,
education, and she works with kids either way,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she got just one of her work screenings. She had a cough. That's it. She
Ah,
just had a little cough one morning, and they're like,
mm-hmm,
boom, you get tested. And that
mm-hmm.
was like 2 days before we were gonna go. So she
Oh,
was
I'm
like,
sorry,
fuck,
bro.
this got screwed up. And I might get the test results and back in time, but if not, I gotta cancel it. So it
Yeah.
had to get canceled, which sucked. But we'll do it again sometime.
So, what are your top picks for hiking in Ontario right now? You've done a
Oh,
lot of it the past few months, so I want to hear your top picks.
well, see, here's the
Uh,
thing. One of the things I learned that is cool about hiking in Ontario is that there's so much different kinds of hiking to do.
Absolutely.
Like, it depends what you're looking for,
Well,
right?
what you Jay Clark are looking for in your sort of perspective, in your opinion,
Okay, well, I can tell
what
you the
brings you the
things
most pleasure?
the things I liked the most about certain areas and certain spots were I liked the gorge, the Niagara Gorge was the most mind-blowing place because before I had been there, I didn't realize that kind of place existed around here. And that was like a whole other universe when you go down there. So, it was almost so amazing down there that I almost got distracted from hiking. Like it was hard to just steady hike
Yeah,
because you're
yeah.
more exploring when you're
Of
down
course,
there.
of
It was
course.
definitely a lot more explorative, so that was fun.
Hmm.
Um Hike wise, I'd have to say having done the Laura Secord Legacy Trail, that was crazy because it was like a two-part one massive hike through so many different environments. Like at one point I was walking through a mall parking lot. Like it was crazy, right?
And
But then
that's on the map, the hike map, the mall parking lot.
well, there's signs the whole trail, right? There's
Oh,
these Laura
okay,
Secord
gotcha.
Legacy
Yeah,
Trail, like
yeah,
her head is on this sign, and you can follow the whole
gotcha.
damn thing. They're not hard to find. There was, well, to be honest, there was once or twice I maybe got turned around. I think we got a little confused, but we always found our way.
Hmm.
And at one point, when you get out, you pass Niagara College there, and you go through Niagara College, literally like through the one area, and then that comes out, and you walk down the highway, and then you have to walk through the mall, the outlet mall. Do you know that the discount outlet mall that's
Oh, yes,
down there with like
yes,
Adidas and all that? It's like an
yeah,
outdoor
yeah,
mall. It's not an indoor mall. It's all
yeah.
outdoor.
Like big box style
Yeah. So you go
with
down in there and
outlets.
you have to, it's not, you don't necessarily have to walk through the mall, but you have to walk through across the parking lot and down the highway, and then you're walking down city roads, you're walking down highways, you're walking through fields, you're walking through thick forest. Like that's one of the amazing things when you think back to the fact that she did this, everything she did go through to get there. She must have been mangled. Like she must have been just mangled with bug bites and blisters and thorns and nature, and just especially in bug bites especially.
And
But
also
back then,
cumbersome women's fashions back then as well.
exactly, right? And when I did it, it's nowadays where it's like all opened up, right?
Hmm.
Yes, Crystal, you did come in at the right time, hiking discussion. It's all opened up now, and it was still kind of difficult at parts, right? So just trying to
Hmm.
imagine her doing that is just, man, it makes you swell with pride, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
I'm shocked.
um
the Laura Secord company hasn't taken advantage and put like a Laura Secord in that mall or along the highway, like an ice cream
I'm not sure
stand
how
for the
that
hikers.
works. And just for the
That would be
record,
kind of
so
awesome.
yeah, the listeners know I'm actually related to Laura Secord by marriage. She knew to go to the DeQ house where she went, where Fitzpatrick was staging his headquarters. Um, Captain John DeQ was actually a prisoner of war in Philadelphia at the time, and he was my fifth great grandfather. So, they were related through marriage. So that's what I mean when I say a swell of pride, that this is family history for me, as well as Niagara, Ontario, Canadian history. It's kind of nuts, right? So I decided to do that walk, which anybody can do. And it's about 32 kilometers. And I did it in two different sections. I think I did it in 16 and 14 or whatever, or and a half. I don't know. I can't remember how it broke out, but something like that. And I did it two different Saturdays, two different days, and in basically two halves, but you can kind of do it in four different sections. There's four parks that are like kind of the stops along the way. But it's crazy. You see mills and waterfalls and nutty stuff. I'd have to say though, hiking, like if you want to get out there in the bush and hike, I'd have to say
Do some scrambling.
that Killarney was insane. Killarney was hiking at some of its roughest that I've done, where you have to do some rock climbing and some climbing over bridges that are half sunk in water. And the White Crest Cliffs of Killarney are up there, so you have to kind of climb up the granite hills. But that's a good hike, and it's beautiful, beautiful nature. But then there's Frontenac, who I went up to Frontenac with Crystal, who is also saying the gorge is spectacular. But we spent a weekend up at Frontenac hiking, and that was amazing. That was like wetlands, and then parts of it almost felt like African. There's this one little area I remember where we came up, and it was all very wetlandish, and hinterlands kind of off in the distance, and then you come up, and yeah, the way these trees, these little like grove of trees were growing in the rocks, and there was lots of grass, which is weird to see in a lot of the parks. But there was lots of grass there, and then the way these vines were going in these trees, for some reason, it felt very African, and it was trippy, and you see all these crazy environments. So Frontenac was amazing for that. And I know Crystal was just at Frontenac. Was it cold, Crystal? How cold was it? I know you've got all the proper stuff. She's got all the gear you would want to
The
have. Like,
Gore-Tex and the
yeah, she's got her polar this and polar that. So I know she was probably comfortable, but it still
does
must have
Crystal
been
have
chilly.
snowshoes? Ask her if she has
I don't
snowshoes.
know.
We
Do you have
talked about
snowshoes, Crystal?
snowshoes.
Let us know there. But I do want to get a fall hiking in, or a fall camp sesh at some point, and it's going to be hard for me right now just with everything I got going on with work, because
Yeah.
work's
Well,
super busy for
supposedly a
me.
lull coming up in the cold. I know we had a cold snap with a bit of snow, but people were saying
Yeah,
it's going
apparently it's
to
going to
warm
get
up
a
a
little bit
little.
warmer.
So there
So,
might be a window there. There might be a
right.
window in the next few
She
days.
says that her water froze Friday night.
Oh no.
So it got cold there. And no, she doesn't have snowshoes. But yeah, so that's how cold it was that her water froze.
Oh
But I
geez.
still want to get a camping session, um, because I've never really done fall camping. So I do want to get one try in at that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm so busy with work right now, and the fact that I'm actually, on the move. Um, as a bit
Good.
of an announcement, our time is limited here at the Smoking Pod studio. Not for any kind of nefarious or negative reasons. I just want a better place. I want a newer place. And with events in your lives, you get to a point where it's time to move on. So we're just looking for new facilities right now. I'm thinking maybe for the new year, probably maybe January 1st-ish or something like that. We'll be moving on from the Smoking Pod studio and finding something bigger, better, and fresher where we can bring our party to you. It's going to be the same area. I'm staying in Hamilton, not going anywhere. But yeah, need a little bit more space of my own than here can provide. So I'm looking forward to that excitement. We're going to find a big exciting. Maybe we can get this green screen more effective where you're not seeing these weird. I got to figure out if this is where the see this halo. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's I believe that's the green light. Like when the light hits your screen behind you, it's reflecting off that screen
Right. So
and
I'm too close to it because yeah,
yeah,
when I
yeah.
do this, it
So
looks better, right? So I need
yeah,
some distance, but
you
that
need a
means I
little bit
might
of
need a
distance.
bigger screen, man. I don't know. We're gonna have to
We
figure
we
this
talked
out.
about this before the podcast, and there is
Yeah.
a good idea in there. So I fully approve of your plans if you do find
Yeah,
the
I
right
might just get the
space.
new space and just paint an entire wall green and leave it at that, and then we can put whatever we want on it
And
all
then
the
we
time.
start
So,
shooting our Star Wars fan films in there, just
right,
like George did.
exactly, right. Good times. What's Crystal saying here? The wolves went crazy with the blue moon. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, it
right.
sounds like she's down for
Was
camping.
Halloween a full moon? I think it was, wasn't it? Or
Any
something close
month that
to it?
has two full moons, any month that has two full moons, the second of those moons is called the blue moon. That's what a blue moon is.
Ding 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 ding.
Blue moon, you let me standing alone. I bet you that's in my thing somewhere.
What did you do for Halloween? Did you guys? I don't know what the bylaws are in Hamilton. Was there
Well,
trick or
we didn't
treating
even
in
bother
Hamilton?
to try. We just had a little home party. We all got a little
Oh, that's
dressed up at
cool.
home, and we had my son's friend, who is more like his cousin, if not his brother, that is grown up, and his mother. All type friends, all in the bubble. We've all been in the bubble since the beginning.
Mhm.
We couldn't get out of each other's bubbles if we tried. But yeah, they came over and we had a little co-parent party, and all the parents of these two boys, we four of us got together, and one of the aunties came by, and it was just we had a little scavenger hunt for
Oh, that's
Pokemon cards.
terrific.
We hid Pokemon cards around the house and had scavenger hunt to find all them, because candy was a free for all. Like,
Mhm.
there's going to be no trick or treating, I figured.
Yeah.
So I just went out and bought a shitload of candy and put it in a bunch of bowls around the house and let everybody go. And I was like, just start eating candy.
Did you
And
have any
so
trick or treaters at all?
we had like one or two, I think one. And then by the second time, like, we put a bowl outside with candy and it was
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, I only saw one or two. Hamilton was
Gotcha.
pretty dead. At least my little area of Hamilton was dead, which I was
Mhm.
happy to see, because I heard other people got actually like 10 to 20 kids. And I was like,
Oh
I couldn't
wow.
believe I saw one. I was
At
like,
that
people are
point,
really actually going out?
at
I was
that point, you
shocked.
start digging for ketchup packets and soy sauce.
Wouldn't you feel weird, like, being the one person out there? Like, I saw this one guy walking across with his little girl, and I was like, okay, it's valiant, you're trying, but don't you feel like weird and silly? Like, like, I know it sucks, but the kids got to lose one. Like, there's bigger issues at hand, kind of.
Mhm.
And hopefully
Hey, it
eventually
sounds
it
like they
all.
won one. If there was a Pokemon cards and bowls of candy around the house and
Had a great time. We got a cake, like a little Halloween cake,
oh, dude,
right?
this is the thing. It's all in how you sell it to the kids, right?
Yeah. Here, hold
That's the
on.
whole
Let's get
thing.
a review. Come here, boy.
Is he in his costume?
No, but he happens to be right here. Everybody knows the
Dude.
Padawan.
Hey, buddy.
He
Long
can't
time
hear
no
you
see.
because of the
Oh, okay.
headphones, so he can't
So
hear
I'm
what's
just gonna
going on.
wave to him.
Yeah, there's Sam waving at you. What did you think about Halloween and how we pulled it off?
Good, especially since we didn't go trick or treating. You pulled it off excellently.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun with activities and people, and we got dressed up and did the whole thing anyways.
Yes.
Yes, I'm good. Okay, good. Glad. Yeah, we did it all right then.
What were the costumes?
Who tell the people you were for Halloween?
Toby from Naruto.
And
Oh, that's amazing.
what's his other name?
Obito.
Gotta just talking to the microphone quick.
Obito.
Obito, and he's got yet another name. Mahahuda. What?
Toby.
No, something. What did Howard Wong call him?
Oh, Madara.
Madara. So Madara
Uchiha.
Uchiha. Madara Uchiha.
Yeah.
That's who Howard called him.
Yeah.
So this guy was Madara Uchiha, and his buddy Kingston, who came over, was Naruto.
Oh, that's
And,
awesome.
yeah, so they did great. I threw my best Indiana Jones together that I could, Indiana J. And Allie, Kingston's mom, she was Hermione, so she had the whole thing going, and we had a great time. So, well, that's good, buddy. I'm glad that you enjoyed that, and I'm glad we at least had some kind of special event. Yeah, good. All right,
Thumbs up.
go on, get out of here.
Good seeing you, kid.
Sam says, "Good seeing you." I'm sure we'll see each other live soon at some point. So there's the Padawan's outlook on it, Oh, Crystal,
Hopefully we
hey
can all sit
Declan,
down and
Crystal
draw.
says, hey. Crystal says you're too cute. Oh, come show. This was just completed. This is his latest piece.
Oh my God, that's amazing! Look at that.
Yeah, that's his.
Wow.
He just did that now.
That's
So,
incredible.
and
I
who is
cannot
this?
wait.
Ichibo?
Each a go.
Each a go. Yeah. So my kid's a freak. He's about to turn 10 in like 2.5 weeks, right? And he's basically spent the entire pandemic drawing, and the leaps and bounds that he's taken it's phenomenal. How far he's come, and it makes you wonder about the education system. Like, if a kid could actually focus for 6 to 8 months on what they're best at and what they love to do most, how quickly they could gain, skills at this and learn. He hasn't just learned how to get better at drawing, but he's just been able to throw himself into the point where he loves to do the work surrounded with it too. You know what I mean? And put the effort in. And I just think he's learned almost more than I feel like he's almost learned more out of school than he might have had he been in it about certain things. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I look forward to being able to sit down and draw with you guys again.
Absolutely. It's going to be lots of fun. So the Van Gogh immersive exhibit.
That was
wow.
Amazing.
It blew my mind. It
well
was
worth it.
well worth it. In fact, like, quite a good deal when you think about it. Like, when you'd blow, what was it, $39 for
Something like that.
walkthrough?
Yeah,
I paid
$39
for per ticket. Got 2 tickets for that. And
you can stay as long as you want.
Yeah, and when you think about what you would spend at the movies in a night, by the time you get your tickets and popcorn and stuff, you're probably spending more than that. And it was kind of what I expected, but so much more.
How long did you stay in there? It's on a half-hour loop, I think. And you're allowed to stay in there for as long as you want.
That was only a half hour?
Well, the loop is, but you can stay in longer. And I found
the loop felt more like 45 to an hour.
Was it 45 to an hour?
It felt pretty long.
Maybe it was closer to 45 minutes or something like that. But yeah.
But again, you're not timing it because you're so taken with
absolutely.
it. Right?
And sometimes on the second loop, actually, you start spotting things you weren't ready for during the first loop. And you don't have to go at any particular time. It's just on a constant loop. So you'll go in there in the quote unquote middle of the show, even though it's just an immersive experience.
Although they are good for us, they were like, look, you can go in now if you want, but there's like 6 minutes till the loop starts again. So we would recommend you hang out here for like 5 minutes and just look at these monitors and shit.
Yeah.
And then go in. And that's what we did. And I'm glad we did, because we got to kind of see it from the startup. But what amazed me most was the way it invoked so much emotion.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't expecting the music, and it was paired perfectly. And whoever actually did the work of the animation, that's quite a task when you think about it and see what they did to interpret it in a way, moving from one painting to another, or one piece to another, or one piece of a painting to the other piece of that.
Yeah.
To be able to try and nail that mood as best you could is difficult, especially when art is such a interpretive thing, right? Like, everybody can get so many different things out of it. To try to find that broad idea of how to bring all his works and emotions together just really blew my mind. Not just seeing his works and learning so much more about it, which was just, mesmerizing. Like, just, you can't believe humans can look at the world in a certain way, and then, interpret that in turn. But it was masterfully constructed.
And the way they transform that space as well. I don't know if you know much about the space, the big industrial space.
Yeah, I don't know what was in
the Toronto. Again, this is an enormous cavernous space. Normally without the lights, it's an industrial space in the Toronto Star building. Not the one that was in the early adventures of Superman that Joe Shuster drew, but the subsequent Star building. The printing presses used to be in there.
Oh, okay. That's why it's so tall.
That space used to be the stop the presses.
Wow.
That would be the printing press. Have you seen the Toronto Star lately, by the way? It is tiny. It looks like a flyer. It's a pamphlet.
Dude, they've gotten small. Yeah, and the Toronto Sun is like thin. It's like,
wow,
there's like nothing to it now.
Yeah, no wonder they had to get rid of an entire room of printing presses.
Right?
But you know what? It's great what they did with it. I would be curious because early on, we had talked about doing the drive-in experience, and I'm actually glad my first.
I don't get how that worked.
Was that I someone was telling me, and again, I could be wrong, but it was in one of the parking garages instead, maybe, or maybe they would let you drive out onto that floor and park it there.
Because it looked pricey when you looked at the equipment that was up on the roof to make all this happen.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd have two setups of those? You know, one just for drive-throughs? I don't see that happening because most
Well, it's a
people,
pretty
I
big
think,
space. So if they let them
through.
drive into that space, you could park a good like 20, 30 cars into that space. If that was the space, but someone told me
Must be what it is. I think
but someone
that's what
told me
is.
it was the parking, like the parking garage, which again, I don't know anything about that. So
There's no cars, obviously, when we were there and stuff, but holy crap, man, you would have lost a lot, I think, if you were sitting in
no,
a
especially
car,
yeah, because you have to look up and you have to look in all different directions. Unless you had a convertible, you wouldn't have gotten half.
I had no idea he had that Japanese phase.
Yeah, no, it's
and that
incredible.
was incredible. Like
absolutely, and the mood they were able to sort of evoke for that as well. And when the
and the
sun
movement
came out,
and the
how awesome was that when the sun came out?
Could you imagine? Oh, that was nuts. And then it travels all across the oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's an enormous space. So
and all the trees, so much tree growth. There was a lot of like nature, and then just because I mean, obviously it's his paintings, a lot of them already look like they're moving. So it makes sense to follow the flow. But
was it very
still,
crowded
the
when you went back?
intricate detail of how the animated flow was followed, just genius. It was I'd say probably 2/3 full.
Okay,
Maybe.
so
I was surprised how many people were there.
Yeah,
There
my
was a
main
lot of
question
empty
is-
circles, and I didn't feel crowded at all.
All right, because that was my question. Because we went on a fairly crowded day, and stuck to our circles. It was still early days
Right.
Of the pandemic, but I would have loved to have been able to walk through that space.
Oh, we
during
did.
this
We
immersive-
it was absolutely empty enough for that.
Okay,
It was
if you
maybe
could have done that, I would have loved that. Like,
no, maybe it was like 20, 30 couples tops in there.
oh wow, in that enormous space, eh? That would have been
wasn't
great.
I didn't feel at all. We made our way around. We walked around. We
you
walked up
you
to the
even
walls.
got to walk through, quote unquote, walk through that forest. Like
Yeah.
that's how it would have felt like to me.
But
to
also
walk
you
through that
felt like
forest.
it wasn't really like you couldn't like take a walk around. You had to go from circle to circle. Like at points you would see a better circle happening with a certain view, so you'd go
Yeah.
over to that circle. And they have the big middle stand where you can go up and look at everything from above. There was maybe 3 people at a time tops on that big top platform thing. So, definitely not overcrowded, but what a mesmerizing experience, man. I can't imagine tripping out in there. Like, holy crap. And just the texture. You know what makes me think about Van Gogh too? You know how much paint he must have used? Like actual physical paint? When you look at the depth and texture of his paintings and how much actual physical paint is put onto the canvas, I wonder where he got. So, like, I know there's all the stories and his brother, the benefactor,
Have
and
you
all that,
seen
but he
Vincent
must have went through a
Van Gogh?
shitload of paint. No, I have never actually
Oh,
have.
you know what? I won't spoil it. But my advice is to rent Vincent and Theo. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. It is wonderful. If you want to get a sense, it'll put a lot of this into context.
People have told me that in the past few days. I just realized that I'm drinking out of a green cup.
Nice.
Pinkies up, kids. Okay. Yeah, highly recommended. It's only $40 a pop, and it is so worth it. It's down at 1 Yonge Street, and we were there on Wednesday, and it was really nice and sunny, but it was windy as hell. So being on the harbor front there, it kind of sucked for that, but it's great that it is right there. There's lots of, because if you get there early, which we did, we spent the first hour, we just walked the harbor front, right?
Oh, that's amazing. That whole area that opened up east of there.
Yeah.
Like that little beach there. And I actually
really nice, man.
I hadn't been down there in ages and didn't realize all this stuff opened up. And actually I was lucky enough that when we went, the patios were open. So just to be able to go there and sit on the patio, have a drink, have dinner, watch the sunset. It was lovely. And after dinner walk along there. Fantastic.
Well, we went over. We got beef patties.
Oh,
Or I got a
dude,
beef
where'd you get the
patty.
beef patties?
There was a little, just like a little store there. I can't remember what it's
Okay.
called, but just like a little convenience general store on the corner. And I grabbed a beef patty, and we went over to Jack Layton Park, the ferry terminal, and they got the little Death Star there. Have you seen that? I posted the picture the other day of the prototype of the Death Star that it's at the park there. It's the one park that's got like the giant picnic table, the novelty giant picnic table. But anyways, yeah, so went there and it was really nice other than being a little too windy. So, but then it was great. It was a fantastic time. Highly recommended. If you don't know anything about Van Gogh, it doesn't matter. You're going to have your mind blown. If you do know about Van Gogh, this is going to just show you a whole other look into his existence. I feel like I know him better. Knowing nothing, I know no more details or facts about him than I did going in, but emotionally, I feel like I know him better.
Well, I felt like this is how he sees the world. Like,
yes,
this is as sort of the I won't say madness, but the fever, shall we say?
a maddening
the brain fever
beauty for sure.
took him over.
Like, absolutely, man, for sure. So I'm an even bigger fan now. Like it's just but I mean I still that Japanese stuff, holy stuff. So Japanese samurai, samurai inspired things like the Mandalorian. There you go, kids. There's your mega segue. So the other night I was talking about the Mandalorian with Anthony Rudkazer and Josh Hawks were on the show here, right? And we just kind of waxed poetic about it for a bit, but I didn't even realize what I'd seen till I started seeing afterwards the info that started coming out, like Easter eggs and this and that. And holy crap, man, they're taking it to a whole other level. And I think this is the most important, other than like my family right now, this is the most important thing in the world to me. I'm so focused on the Mandalorian right now, like a life jacket, like a life preserver. You know what I mean? Like I'm putting so many eggs in that basket to make myself happy right now. And I'm loving the fact that just more keeps coming out of it. So the episode was great, right?
Have you read the Aftermath novel just before we get into this?
I have not. I should get back into starting. I've not read any novels since Disney took over.
I'll mention it. I won't spoil it as we go along.
Right. So, all the cool stuff happens that we've heard about, and all spoilers, kids, if you want to get out of here, all three of you. But if anybody doesn't want to hear what we're about to talk to, even if this is afterwards on the feed, and we're still available on iTunes and Spotify. Sorry, Apple Podcasts. We're not supposed to say iTunes anymore. Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that good stuff. And on YouTube, this video afterwards is now I'm dropping them down on the YouTube. So why not? You can hang out with us all over the place. So, a lot of the typical things we knew about, Timothy Oliphant showing up, Boba Fett showing up at the end, of course, that giant Easter egg and everything. But little things started trickling out. I didn't realize that while the two of them were riding in on the speeder bikes, that the other speeder bike was Anakin's pod racer.
Yeah. When I saw that, I blew up. My brain just melted. It's like
that one. I didn't clue in, man. I didn't clue in. And it's crazy because like that one's almost going a little too far for even me. Like that's really jamming an Easter egg in there. Like the coincidence. It's super fun.
It's Tatooine. There are sort of
how small Jawas. Is Tatooine? How little amount of scrap is on Tatooine, though? I guess then right.
You see a lot of Jawas in the picture, right. And these junker droids, et cetera, et cetera. So
right. So that was mega cool. I didn't realize it was John Leguizamo.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Playing that one role, and
hugely underrated actor too.
Hugely underrated actor, man. And I think it's finding the right vehicles for him though. But in certain things, he's amazing. Even John Wick, I think he was a huge part of the success of John Wick because that character was, it's one of the few ones that you can count on in those movies, right? And he played it well, man. He's really, you're right. He's a fine actor, especially, over the years.
And for such a
really
small role too.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there was more of a role. Maybe there's more to this character.
Could be, man. Could be. We see other ones showing up, like especially when he runs back into. I'm not good with a lot of these names. I'm not remembering them.
Yeah,
So,
me neither.
but the the caretaker with the pit droids, and I love how much prequel stuff is in this. Thank God. This is the first episode that Jon Favreau has actually directed too, right? So, they're just going all in now. Now that it was a success, they're like, yeah, we're basically now making live action cartoons that we wanted to make. That's what Filoni's doing, right?
Mhm.
So
and
I'm all
with,
for it.
with what's the Boba Fett actor's name from the prequels?
Tamora
Oh, sorry,
Morrison.
Jango Fett.
Right. I
Fett
think
actor.
I'm Tamora Morrison. I think I'm saying that right.
So with him in the picture, this opens because we
best.
suspect that
So
Ahsoka
happy.
is coming. Does this
Yeah.
mean Rex is coming as well?
Eh.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. Just throwing that out there.
Well, there's no reason that he couldn't, because he's like, remember they canonized him for Return of the Jedi?
Mm-hmm.
And now that one character that happens to look like him in Return of the Jedi, that one extra, has now been canonized as him. So
Yeah.
this will be 5 years later. So he very well could still be there and old.
Mm-hmm.
And, does Tamura play both roles? Right?
That would
Because
be awesome.
they got
that would
him.
be perfect.
They got him. They don't have a problem. They know he wants to be on the show. He's
Yeah.
doing it.
He's
So
there anyways.
And
Ahsoka is showing up. We think.
If you think about it, those are the only two. That's a good point, Sam, because Rex and him would have to be played by the same guy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both the right age to be played by him.
Absolutely.
And they're probably the only two left who would be, right? There's no
Mhm.
other clones left that we know of. Like,
That we know
as far
of.
as we know, Rex is the last clone, right?
Yeah. Although, what's the story with the Bad Batch? I'm wondering too. That's coming in March, right?
The Bad Batch.
We got
too.
the Bad Batch show, so something to look forward to. We'll leap straight from the Mandalorian, have a little bit of a lull, and then right into the Bad Batch. So
yeah.
We are spoiled.
Chad Park. Hey, how's it going? How's it going out east there, by? Chad? Do you know Chad? Hockey Spawn, indeed. And several other Spawns. He's also been Western
Cowboy
Spawn, wasn't he? And his kid, was your kid just Western Spawn, Chad?
Is he his kid's wearing his Western Spawn outfit now?
No, I think he made one for his kid for Halloween, because I saw the picture
Spawn.
the other day, and I think that, his kid was
I gotta check that out.
Spawn of Spawn. Spawn of Spawn is doing it up. So
well, I hope Chad is able to come back out west from once he came this pandemic has calmed down a little bit. It would be great to see him at Fan Expo and all the other shows again.
And it looks like Becca is hanging out. Hello, Becca. Ninja Spawn. He is Ninja Spawn.
Ninja Spawn.
Awesome.
Gotcha.
This
is the great thing. All the spawns of the rainbow. So here's the thing about that I've been told about Timothy Olyphant's character, and I did read the Aftermath novel, and to be honest, he wasn't a main character, so it
but he is in it?
Timothy Olyphant.
See, it just keeps getting cooler, man.
They established apparently all this stuff in the Aftermath. I've only read, again, the first one, and I don't remember a lot about it other than that it sort of connected up with Poe Dameron, I believe.
Okay, right.
With the comics and the novels, et cetera. I really need, now that I've got this incentive, but Oliphant was terrific, wasn't he?
What does he do in the book? Like, what happens to the character in the book?
Basically, the backstory as he described it is what I'm told.
So you're telling me they took something literally right out of the book?
Novels, yeah. I haven't, again, there's 3 of them. It's a trilogy. And it apparently, I'm told by a friend that that redemption story he told the Mando with him, acquiring the Boba Fett armor is part of the novel. So now I have incentive.
How did we not hear about that? In that case, Chad says one day he will be back. But you figure that's actually when they talked about Boba Fett being in the new show, you figure we would have heard somewhere on the internet a bunch of fans who had read the books who are eagle-eyed enough, because you know the way Star Wars fans are, who would have been like, oh, it's got to have something to do with this guy. They're going to have to do live action this guy then, right?
And I'll admit, as an old school
must have been Reddit boards or something grumbling about that.
Mhm. As an old school Star Wars fan, because we're in kind of Earth 2 continuity right now, right? Kelvin
Right.
continuity. I'm my head is full of Legends lore that may or
Me
may
too.
not be. Because remember in the Marvel comics, wasn't there a fake Boba Fett at one point in the
Yes,
Marvel comics? And
there
then
was.
remember the Rancor spit out Boba Fett all scarred and stuff, and Dengar
There's like 3 or
came
4
along.
different versions of him surviving, I think, at one point. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those Marvel version, I think.
What I'm hearing now is
novels.
that it'll probably be that a crate dragon came along, ate the Sarlacc, and then spit him out of that, you know?
Yeah,
But
that makes sense if
but
that
did
was.
you see how he's got the big scar on his face? Boba Fett, he's got a big scar on
Oh,
his
cool.
face
So
in the
so
last scene.
something
Yeah,
happened, eh?
I'm wondering if that's from getting out of the
Lightsaber,
Sarlacc.
or maybe lightsaber. Although I guess that didn't hit him, did it?
I don't know. I
Really,
don't
during the
remember.
lightsaber fight, he got barely touched. Like he barely saw.
But
any
it's
action.
interesting to me also that has he been looking for his armor?
Oh, I'm
And
sure he has. And actually, I got
or
into.
maybe he doesn't care. I get more of the impression that he hasn't been and kind of is in hiding and has let that go. Like, I don't know.
Uh, well, if he again, if he is Mandalorian, they treasure their armor, and this actually, I saw the first episode with a couple of other Star Wars fans, and this sort of came up in conversation. Um, his uniform isn't made of what's that metal that
Beskar?
yeah, his armor isn't made of Beskar because it's actually got the dent in it. It's plastisteel or whatever, supposedly. And then the question came up: is he really Mandalorian? Is Boba Fett really Mandalorian? And I think in the novel continuity, I can't remember if it's pre-Legends or not. He definitely was, because he did sort of receive the rights, et cetera, at some point after Django died, if I remember correctly.
In the new continuity, though?
Oh no, this is probably old continuity.
See,
Again,
here's the thing.
we're into Earth 2 and the
I'm
Kelvin
pretty
universe.
sure on this last episode that they confirmed that it was Beskar.
Oh,
And
that his armor was Beskar?
remember, he takes the shot and it bounces off.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I'm pretty sure he says something about it. I'm pretty sure he said something about it being Beskar.
Beskar. Okay, gotcha.
So I think it is. Now, my question isn't so much is Boba Fett. I don't think Boba Fett is as Mandalorian in the way that you would think he's a Mandalorian. What I think is, my question is, was Django a flat out Mandalorian? Now, if Django was a flat out Mandalorian, you know, Boba probably wasn't, because who would have brought him up in the Mandalorian way?
Django,
like, he only
until
got
he
to a
was
certain
little.
age, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
after Django died and he was, however, how old was he? 9 or whatever. Is that old enough to continue just considering yourself a Mandalorian, or is there more training and ritual to go through? Did he go through that? Did anybody put him through that? I think that's what's going to determine whether he's a Mandalorian, right?
And his armor is Django's armor, right? It's just sort of painted green.
That I don't know.
Or did it tarnish?
I would think that it is, because remember, he picks up his helmet at the end of Attack of the Clones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that it's the same armor, probably repainted or repurposed. These are the big questions now, right? And I'm just glad that Boba Fett's there with these amazingly fun, simple enough, not important enough questions for us to ask to just keep away from Baby Yoda for a while. Because I'm still terrified that one day they're going to give that species a name or something. Like, it's the last great mystery. And I'm one for solving mysteries.
Yeah.
Every other mystery ever written, I think, should be solved except for one. And I don't think we should ever know anything about fucking Yoda.
Yeah,
And,
no, I agree to that. And it'll be interesting to see if there's going to be, again, if Ahsoka shows up, if there is going to be some sort of custody battle. And
I think Ahsoka will be the very end.
Okay, and
very end.
So this might set up season 3 then.
Yes.
Where we have the Baby Yoda custody battle. And hey, maybe his name will be Baby Yoda, because she knew Yoda, right? So she'd be like, oh, let's name him after this great Jedi Master that I knew.
Could happen. Could absolutely happen. That's right. She'll be the only one who actually knows what the fuck he is. I didn't even think of that. But Yoda was so famous. How does nobody else heard of Yoda and the older folks when, you know, a lot of these folks are on in their years, and they wouldn't have heard of the great master Yoda like from back then.
Well, the
You
Empire
know,
suppressed it all, right? So
yeah, I guess so, but
having to
still,
live
it
there,
seems
there
like
might
there's
be a
some
few
people
old people that remember, and maybe some oral
like
traditions. But
even
for the
what's his
most part,
name, even Gore Videsh or whatever. What's his name? Carl Weathers.
oh yes, yes, yes,
He's
yes,
been
yes.
around enough.
No, for
He's been around
sure.
long enough. He should know what the hell a Yoda is. It's only been 5
Yeah,
years at that
yeah,
point, right?
yeah. And Yoda was running around the Capitol, like running things
That's
along
one
with Mace
hard part that
Windu.
it's
And
hard for me to kind of get with, you know. Or wait, no, this is 5 years after Jedi, so he would have been a lot younger, yeah. But still, I don't know. You figure just the Yoda was such a presence that I don't know, someone would know. But you
well,
know,
you never
maybe
know.
I'm getting a little
The
too
Empire, the Empire,
involved.
as a lot of fascist regimes do, suppress and misinform, right, and essentially burn all the old information
Yeah.
that would be there, and intimidate people to not talk about the old days, or there were never any Jedi. You know what I mean?
I think it's fun how they did go right with the Western thing though. Like this
Oh,
was purely like
absolutely.
their high noon episode, right?
Oh
Like if
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
wants a Western, check this out.
yeah.
We're gonna take the guy who always plays a marshal and make him play a marshal again. You know who I think
Oh, have you
that
seen You haven't seen Fargo? And
no.
Oliphant again. He's typecast, but he does it so well. He
Yeah.
is yet another cowboy type character in Fargo. I think he even was cowboy-esque in The Good Place too, wasn't he? When he showed up for his little cameo in The Good Place.
Oh, that's right. He to me he's like our new Bill Paxton.
Yes,
Since we
I would
lost
agree
Bill
with that.
Paxton, I feel like he fills the void perfectly.
I
As
would
he
agree with that.
ages, he fills that need
Just
that
a
we have.
kick-ass older guy that just sort
Yeah,
of shows
kick
up in
ass, nice
scenes
older
and
dude. Like, there's just he's one of those just something about him guys. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? You like to watch him. You enjoy just hearing him talk. You know, it's
And we have another trope that's brought back and made fresh again. I keep forgetting that Western TV shows and movies in general haven't been around for 50 years. Like we watched them
right.
as kids with our dads because of reruns, right? Like our parents
Yeah,
because of reruns and on video and stuff like that. But there's a whole generation where they didn't see the episode where the cowboys and the Indians had to Native Americans had to work together to defeat a common foe.
dude, my kid doesn't know what I Love Lucy is. Right? Like,
Unless he watches American Gods, and then Gillian Anderson has a terrific line.
yeah, I hope that comes back and does well too. There's so much to look forward to, but right now the Mandalorian is kind of just sucking up all my joy, and I'm fine with that because there was just so much to enjoy, and plus it's still just so well made. Like the whole thing at the end with the Tuscans and them having to get together and the way they pulled all that off, just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely insane. Is there anything else I was missing?
I'm trying to think. I had a whole lot of questions, but right now I'm. Oh well, the Crate Dragon, of course.
Right,
Seeing the Crate Dragon in action, especially
seeing the
they did
pearl,
the which one?
the pearl. You know
The,
how they took a pearl out of it after they killed it?
oh yes.
That pearl has existed in the past and has in the past also been used to make a lightsaber.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
ooh, as opposed
Yeah.
to a kyber crystal.
Yeah. There's history to those pearls, man. They're
Oh,
kind of nuts.
in which, like, not old Republic
I
novels
can't
and stuff like
remember
that. Okay,
exactly, like, but I know for
gotcha.
sure that those pearls have existed in the past and have been, MacGuffins. They've been used as MacGuffins before.
But no, you know what? The fact that they were able to bring the Crate Dragon in the scale
Yeah.
that you always imagine. Like I'd only seen it in, I think it was like Star Wars Galaxy
We'd
or
only
Star
seen
Wars
this.
Universe
Oh,
cards,
right.
like paintings and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Other than that, it was the skeleton was the only thing we had seen in A
Yeah, and
New
we
Hope,
actually
right?
saw the skeleton at the beginning of the episode. I think as they were coming in, I think we caught a glimpse of it. Now
You
the
gotta love the
original
attention to
skeleton
detail, right?
Now, the original skeleton was apparently sitting in the desert for years and years and years. And at a certain point, someone went out and found it and then sort of let the world know. And over time, people have taken it and it's kind of disappeared because people
Oh.
have taken pieces of it as souvenirs.
It's sad.
But yeah, at least, 10 or whatever, 15 years after the shooting of Star Wars, someone found the remnants of not only the Krayt Dragon, but the home of Luke Skywalker and Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Although I guess they revisited.
I know they fixed those up too. Yeah, no, they fixed that stuff up
when they
and
went
kind
back
of it's
for the
more
prequels.
touristy in Tunisia there and everything. Chad also says his kid doesn't believe him that he's older than Google. That's pretty good. I'm wondering how it's going to be as far as the season goes. I think it's going to have to go pretty quick. And
how many episodes are there?
Because this didn't really get us anywhere. This was almost like a filler episode to start.
Yeah, especially there's not like Baby Yoda was just sort of there,
Yeah, didn't they only do like 8?
Is it only 8? Because
it was 8 last time, wasn't it?
Oh, was it 8? Oh yeah, you're right. 8 and done. And you know what? That's a perfect amount for me. And are we gonna get the Baby Yoda in a spittoon in time for Christmas?
Right.
Because that's going to be a thing. It's going to be
well, it doesn't look like
plushy.
It. This one came pretty quick. It felt like we didn't have to wait long in between seasons for this.
It has been a year.
It seems we're going to. It has been a year. I don't know.
Yeah, it came out before Christmas, between Halloween and Christmas last year, if I recall correctly.
God damn. Quarantines.
But then we had the Clone Wars. We had the Clone Wars in there to fill the time. So this year we'll have the Bad Batch. And then are they going to release any of those? What they shot?
I don't think it's going to go very far, the Bad Batch.
You don't think so? It's going to be a short miniseries?
I think people are kind of over the clones in a way.
Really? I kind of like the setup, and Filoni's doing such a great job.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. It might be brilliant, but I have a feeling people are more into, I think what's going to be great about this series, especially that we're really starting to learn, is the plethora of, oddball extra type characters that are going to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And I think
that's going to be for the arc of 8 episodes. The Darksaber obviously is in play out there.
I really don't know. It depends how surpriseful they go. I mean, what the sensible thing is that, Gideon is chasing them down with the Darksaber. He's trying to get Yoda back to wherever. And
do you think this will have a fugitive vibe to it?
You know what I'm thinking, though? Here's the thing. I'm wondering if there's going to be a twist. Everybody's talking about Boba Fett's going to want his armor back and this, and that. What if it becomes team up?
Oh, I have.
What if Boba Fett is a hero this season? What if Boba Fett ends up helping him out and is part of his new crew? What if him and Boba Fett actually get cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could be one way.
Especially as Mandalorians.
He knows the Jedi. He's a bounty hunter.
Why wouldn't they be cool, right?
Exactly.
They're both Mandalorians, and
unless
he's
not
armor.
a Mandalorian, and that's why he's ignoring his armor because he doesn't consider himself a Mandalorian, right?
Well, I think the
Mandalorian convinces him to help him and bounty hunts down a Jedi because who the hell else had what other not many other Mandalorians had as much contact with Jedi, at least from that time, as Boba Fett did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Did we get some Padawan review of Mandalorian? What did he think of?
I got to sit down and rewatch it with him. We got to do the Mandalorian there.
Gotcha. It would be interesting to hear what he has to say as the next generation of Star Wars fan.
Yeah, or at least Mandalorian fan. This is the first real Star Wars he's ever even been into a little. But what is this here? This is your new Hunter x Hunter t-shirt?
Nice.
Yeah. It's all anime all the time these days, kids. That was a lot of fun, Sam. Thank you for diving a little deeper into that with me. And thank you very much for hanging out as we offer a little bit of a distraction over the madness happening in the world. Oh, and before we go, mention very quickly and tell the fine people what the exciting Ballyskillin news is going on right now.
Thank you, sir. We're fully funded. We've hit I think I'm trying to remember, we're at stretch goal 5 or 6 right now, which means a lot more augmented reality content going out there. And 48 hours left. We just crossed the 48 hours. So go to Kickstarter, Ballyskillin, BALLYSKILLEN. And yeah, it is a virtual reality enhanced storytelling with an app, a free app that you can actually try out for yourself at home with our contemporary fantasy comic based on Irish mythology. We're really excited. It's coming to life. I can't wait to send you as soon as the ink is dry, my friend. I am sending it to you.
I can't wait to see it and
check
play
out.
with it and
This
figure
is-
it out, man. It's
Well-
Becca says thank you for the distraction and congrats, Sam. Absolutely. Yeah.
and
I'm
yeah,
really excited to see this. The art has been incredible. Andy Dorland
Andrew
has just
Dorland
destroyed it. Yeah.
is
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
He's the right guy for this. He's an animation storyboard artist and does animatics. So the fact that he works fairly quickly as well. Production is well underway. Once the Kickstarter's done, we're off to the races and on to the next one. 4-issue arc. You don't need the app actually to enjoy the comic. It's a self-contained 4-issue miniseries that you can read on its own. But if you want the full experience, go to the Kickstarter, go to ballyskillin.com, download the app, have a look at our movies there, have a look at the animated GIFs just to see what it's about. It's not just the novelty of, someone moves a panel or there's some special effects or sounds. We are actually integrating, Andrew is fully animating, doing traditional 2D animation to enhance the story. It's all about the story and the characters for us. So
that's
beyond
nuts.
novelty. We're adding to the world. It's a richer world.
I can't wait to experience it, man. Maybe you can come back on and we can somehow show the people and stuff, little bits of it or somehow how it works, right?
If I can get up to the Smoking Pod studio when it's printed, at the very least, I will send you the PDF.
Very cool.
Heck, I can even put it in the mail so you can get the physicality of it. Because
hey, man, let's start writing letters just for something to do. I mean, who the knows, man? I'm just what do we do, man? All I'm doing is just keep potting. All the cons went away. I miss everyone so much.
But you
we're
are
holding it together.
You will be one of the very first people to experience.
I can't wait.
Full glory,
I'm
my
very,
friend.
very honored and excited. Kids, there you go. We offer a little bit of distraction if we could for the evening. I got to hang out with my very good friend Sam Noir here, kids. You know what? I think Sam deserves. What do I got here? I got a little bit of this right here. This is what Sam deserves. Sam Noir, everybody. See, we're still getting used to our sound effects and such. But,
it's all good.
There you go. Kids, thanks for hanging in. Check out The Mandalorian. Check out the Ballyskillin Kickstarter. And, support and check it out. And I don't know. I hope you all went out and voted, Americans. And I hope everything is going to be okay. So I guess that's it for this week, or at least today. Who knows? Maybe we'll pop back on in a few days with some more bullshit to bullshit about, because that's the fun times that we have to do. Sam Noir, I love you.
Love you, Ben.
Everybody,
do this sooner.
Be kind. Be cool. Take it easy.
Oh, we got the boy jamming too.
Bye.